Japan has one of the highest life expectancies in the world. But here's what's more surprising. It's not just that Japanese people live longer, it's that many of them stay independent, sharp, and mobile well into their 80s and 90s. Now compare that to what often happens after 50 inches the West. Stiff knees, lower back pain, balance issues, brain fog, and a growing fear of losing independence. Billions are spent every year on fitness programs, supplements, and anti-aging solutions. Yet decline still feels inevitable. So, what are Japanese seniors doing differently? Researchers who studied healthy elders across Okinawa and mainland Japan discovered something unexpected. It wasn't extreme workouts, it wasn't special equipment, it wasn't even intense exercise. It was 6 small daily movements. So simple most people ignore them. But when practiced consistently, these habits were associated with stronger joints, better balance, sharper cognition, and in some studies, longer lifespan. If you're over 50 and want to stay strong without punishing workouts or expensive gym memberships, stay with me. Because these 6 movements might completely change how you think about aging. Before we begin, tell me your age in the comments and where you're watching from. I read every comment. Now, the first habit might surprise you. It doesn't look like exercise. It doesn't feel intense. And most people would probably overlook it completely. In Japan, it's known as Sampo, a form of slow, mindful walking practiced quietly by many older adults every morning. If you've ever visited a Japanese park at sunrise, you may have noticed elderly men and women moving at an almost unhurried pace. No headphones, no tracking devices, no sense of rushing anywhere. Just steady, deliberate steps. That's Sampo. Instead of walking fast to get a workout, they slow down to about half their normal speed. Their breathing follows a gentle rhythm. Inhale for 2 steps, hold briefly, then exhale slowly for 4. On the surface, it looks simple. But when you slow your walking this much, something powerful happens. Your feet begin to fully engage the ground again. Each step rolls carefully from heel to arch to toe. Small stabilizing muscles, the ones that quietly weaken after 50, start firing again. Researchers studying older adults who practice slow walking regularly have found improvements in balance, circulation, and even mental clarity. Why? Because moving slowly forces your nervous system to pay attention. Your brain receives clearer signals from your joints and feet. Coordination improves. Stability strengthens. This isn't about burning calories. It's about retraining awareness. If you'd like to try Sampo, start with just 10 minutes. Walk somewhere quiet, if possible, grass, a trail, even a calm sidewalk. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Let your breath guide your pace. After a few weeks, many people notice something subtle but meaningful. They feel steadier, more grounded, more in control of their body. And that's the quiet power behind Sampo. If slow walking teaches the body to move with awareness, the next habit teaches it to move together. Every morning at exactly 6:30 a.m., a gentle melody plays across Japan. It comes from radios in homes, parks, schools, even small offices. And when that music starts, millions of people begin moving in sync. The routine is called Radio Taizo. It has been practiced in Japan for nearly a century. And while it may look simple from the outside, its consistency is what makes it powerful. Radio Taizo lasts just over 3 minutes. There are no intense stretches, no straining, no sweating, just smooth, rhythmic movements. Arm circles, gentle bends, side stretches, knee lifts, all flowing continuously with the music. For older adults, this daily ritual serves as a full-body reset. Research on seniors who practice Radio Taizo regularly has shown lower rates of falls, reduced chronic back pain, and better joint mobility well into their 70s and 80s. The reason is surprisingly straightforward. After 50, stiffness often isn't about age, it's about inactivity. Joints need regular movement to circulate synovial fluid, the natural lubricant that keeps them smooth and pain-free. When we stop moving daily, that lubrication decreases. Radio Taizo restores that rhythm. It gently wakes up the shoulders, hips, spine, and knees not by forcing them, but by guiding them through natural ranges of motion. If you'd like to try Radio Taizo, begin first thing in the morning. Even without music, you can move slowly through basic flowing stretches for 3 to 4 minutes. Keep the transitions smooth. Don't pause. Let your breath stay relaxed. Many people who adopt this routine notice something subtle within weeks. Less stiffness getting out of bed, more fluid movement throughout the day, a sense that the body feels oiled instead of tight, and that consistency more than intensity is a quiet thread running through many Japanese longevity habits. While rhythmic movement keeps the joints fluid, there's another habit in Japan that preserves something even more important: independence. If you walk through a quiet neighborhood park in Tokyo, you might notice older adults resting in a deep squat position, heels flat on the ground, back upright, completely at ease. For many Western adults, over 50, holding a deep squat for even 10 seconds feels nearly impossible, but in Japan, this posture isn't considered exercise. It's simply part of daily life. This position is often referred to as the deep squat rest, a natural human resting posture that many of us lost after decades of sitting in chairs. When you lower into a full squat, several important things happen at once. Your hips move through their full range. Your ankles regain mobility. Your knees strengthen in alignment. Your spine decompresses naturally. And perhaps most importantly, your pelvic floor engages a muscle group closely tied to balance and bladder control as we age. Long-term observations of older adults who maintain the ability to hold a deep squat show something striking. They tend to preserve mobility and independence far longer than those who cannot. Why? Because the deep squat demands integrated strength. It isn't isolated. It involves coordination between hips, core, ankles, and spine all at once. And when we stop using full ranges of motion, we slowly lose them. If you'd like to begin practicing the deep squat rest, start near a sturdy surface like a wall or countertop. Lower yourself slowly. If your heels lift, place a small rolled towel underneath them for support. Hold for 15 to 20 seconds at first. Stand up gently. Repeat once or twice a day. Over time, that posture may begin to feel less foreign, and something subtle happens when you reclaim it. You don't just gain flexibility. You regain confidence in your body. Because the ability to lower yourself to the ground and rise back up is one of the clearest signs of functional strength after 50. And in Japan, maintaining that ability is not optional. It's simply how they continue living on their own terms. Mobility keeps you moving, but balance keeps you safe. And as we age, balance is often the first thing to quietly decline. In Japan, there's a deceptively simple habit many older adults practice daily. It's called single-leg standing. Doctors there sometimes recommend it not as exercise, but as maintenance, like brushing your teeth for your nervous system. The idea is straightforward. Stand on one leg. Hold. That's it. But beneath that simplicity, something remarkable happens. When you lift one foot off the ground, your body immediately begins making tiny adjustments, hundreds of micro-corrections every minute. Your ankles stabilize, your hips engage, your core activates. Even the small muscles around your inner ear responsible for equilibrium come online. And your brain? It lights up. Balance is not just muscular, it's neurological. It requires constant communication between your joints and your brain. After 50, that communication can weaken if it's not challenged regularly. Research observing older adults who maintain strong single-leg balance has shown a clear pattern: better coordination, fewer falls, and stronger overall functional capacity. In fact, the ability to stand steadily on one leg has been closely associated with long-term mobility and independence. To begin practicing single-leg standing, stand near a wall or countertop. Lift one foot just slightly off the ground, even an inch is enough. Focus your gaze on a fixed point ahead of you. Breathe normally. Start with 20 to 30 seconds per side. If that feels easy over time, try closing your eyes briefly or turning your head slowly side to side. Small variations gently challenge your brain to adapt. Many Japanese seniors integrate this into daily routines while brushing their teeth, waiting for water to boil, or standing in the kitchen. It doesn't require extra time. It requires intention, because sometimes longevity isn't about adding years. It's about preventing the fall that changes everything. Strength and balance are essential, but there's another quiet marker of healthy aging that many people overlook: the ability to move smoothly between the ground and standing. In Japan, sitting on the floor is still part of daily life. Meals, tea, conversation, even relaxation often happen at ground level. And that means something important. People regularly lower themselves down to the floor and rise back up again. This everyday movement is sometimes referred to as floor-sitting transitions, the ability to move from standing to the floor and back up with control. It may not look impressive, but it demands more than you think. Lowering yourself down requires eccentric strength in the legs. Rising up challenges your hips, knees, and core. Your brain must coordinate balance, spatial awareness, and motor planning all at once. When this movement becomes difficult, it's often an early sign of declining functional strength, and when it disappears completely, independence begins to narrow. Observational studies of older adults who maintain the ability to sit and rise from the floor without heavy reliance on their hands show stronger, lower body function and better long-term mobility. Why? Because this transition integrates everything: flexibility, strength, coordination, and confidence. If you'd like to begin practicing floor-sitting transitions, start gently. Use a sturdy chair or low stool for support. Lower yourself slowly into a kneeling or seated position. Then practice rising with control, using assistance as needed. Even 2 or 3 repetitions a day can make a difference over time. You may notice that it feels awkward at first. That's normal. Many of us have spent decades avoiding the floor, but gradually reclaiming that movement sends a powerful signal to your body: I'm still capable. And that belief, reinforced physically, can be just as important as the strength itself. There is one final movement that often surprises people the most, because it looks almost too simple to matter. All you need is a towel. This practice is sometimes known in Japan as a daily towel twist, a gentle rotational movement that engages the upper body and spine in a coordinated way. Here's how it works. Hold a towel at shoulder height with both hands. Pull outward gently, as if you're trying to stretch it apart. Then slowly rotate your torso to one side, while keeping your hips facing forward. Pause briefly. Return to center. Rotate to the other side. The movement is controlled, steady, intentional. What makes the towel twist powerful isn't the twist itself, it's the tension. That outward pull activates deep stabilizing muscles across the shoulders, upper back, and core. Muscles that often weaken quietly after 50 because they're rarely challenged in daily life. Rotation is especially important as we age. Many common injuries occur not from lifting heavy objects, but from turning unexpectedly, reaching for something, stepping sideways, twisting too quickly. When you gently practice rotational control, you restore coordination between your upper and lower body. Start with just 1 or 2 minutes in the morning. Keep your movements slow. Breathe evenly. Avoid forcing the range of motion. Over time, many people notice improved posture, stronger grip strength, and a subtle sense of stability through the torso. It's not dramatic, but it's foundational, and sometimes the smallest daily ritual becomes the anchor that keeps everything else strong. When you step back and look at these habits together, a pattern becomes clear. None of them are extreme. None require equipment. None demand exhaustion. They are quiet movements woven into daily life. And that may be the deeper lesson. Aging well isn't about fighting your body. It's about staying connected to it. You don't need to train like an athlete. You need to move like a human consistently, intentionally, every single day. If you're over 50, you don't have to overhaul your life. Start with one movement, 1 minute, one small commitment to yourself. Over time, those minutes accumulate into steadier steps, clearer thinking, stronger posture, and the confidence that you can continue living independently for as long as possible. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these movements feels most realistic for you to begin this week? Share it in the comments. Because aging isn't something that simply happens to us. It's something we shape through the small choices we repeat every day.